Hello and welcome to post-match reaction to the Springboks versus the British and Irish Lions Test 3. And it finished 19-16 with a win for the Springboks, meaning that they win this series 2-1, having trailed by 1-0 after that first Test match. And boy, oh boy, got to say, the best test of the three game play-wise, a lot less kicking than we've seen in the previous two games. Kicks from hand in the first two with 73 and 72. This time combined, 56 kicks from hand, so a much lower number, which is good. It's still more than had in the Bledisloe, which is at 40, but still both sides wanted to play a little bit more rugby than we saw in the previous two tests, which was good. Look, in the first half, the Lions had all of the territory and possession, but decided to go to the corner rather than kick sticks. Look, that got them a try first up with a line-out maul, but the next two failed. So 9 turned down, 7 got, and that meant that they led 6-10 at halftime. Luke de Jager having an absolute monster effort for the time that he was on. He went off on 52 minutes and still led the tackling stats. So massive shift from him in this game. And if you think he was the player that came on in the second half and really turned things around for South Africa, particularly the line out in the second test. And look, he's had a cracking test series even if he hasn't played all of the minutes. But yeah, great one from him. The Lions, look, initially they were doing a lots of one-out passes and just basically running into pods of tacklers. But we lost Bigger early on, and Finn Russell came on, and definitely there was a change in that point of view. Someone hasn't played rugby for 4 or 5 weeks, I think it is now, and he had an absolute cracking game, especially considering how little rugby he's had. But the Lions started to not just pass it one out and run into 3 tacklers, but there were little tip-ons and would ask more questions of the South African defence. Look, in that last game, in the second test, both sides tackling was up well over 90%. This time, 85% by the South Africans and 88% by the Lions. So still very good stats, but at least there was some ability to break tackles, and there were a couple of breaks, clean breaks in this one. According to the stats, 6 clean breaks for the British and Irish Lions, but none of them led to tries. Unlike 2 clean breaks from South Africa, one of which did, which was obviously Cheslin Colby's in that second half. And Pollard lost his kicking boots, didn't he? And it was all Springboks early on. The territory and possession all went the Springboks' way, and you definitely felt that. I was definitely felt at half time that the Lions didn't have the points that they needed for the amount of play they'd had. And that came to be in that second half. Look, but then again, South Africa weren't getting the points for the play they had. Their try came off a British and Irish Lions up and under, knocked forward. And obviously, because you've got the winger and people with the kick chase, if you can get the ball and get over that and get past that kick chase line quickly, you're going to have lots of space. And that's exactly what happened. Leroux got over it, gave it to Cheslin Colby, I think it was Leroux anyway, who then got round Shane Williams, and then was always going to get round Luke Cowan-Dickie, and over he goes to score. We spent an age going back and checking there was no knock-on by South Africa, but we kept saying, can't see one, can't see one, can't see one. At least we got there in the end. Talking of the referee, look, another good game by him. That's 3 good games of refereeing by the refs. I know that not everyone's going to agree with that, but there you go. That's my opinion. I think the refs have had a good series overall, despite what we may have read from one-eyed, what we may have read from in the press, and also from some one-eyed videos that have been released with that one. After that, it became an arm wrestle. 13-10 after that try by Cheslin Colby. And it was going to be who blinks first. And in the end, it was the British and Irish Lions. Again, putting up a high ball. They can't claim it gets knocked on. South Africa put up a high ball back. And the British and Irish Lions knock it on again, turning it over a couple of phases later, give up a penalty. And that's, again, that's what's really cost the Lions this series, is their ability under that high ball. They've just got it wrong, haven't they? Let's be honest. There's a whole bunch of knock-ons and high balls just not claimed. And at the end of that, that's been the difference between these two sides. A few players obviously, Cheslin Colby had that one break, but apart from that, really was hardly used by South Africa. They did have one period of play in that first half where you think, hey, look, they're going to be a bit more expansive. This looks really kind of cool, but that didn't come to much. The Mapimpi really totally ignored in this game. The balls did not come his way. What was that? One pass, one run for 9 meters from him on that one. Similarly, Josh Adams, I didn't. One pass, 5 runs, 43 meters though. So he made one clean break, but we didn't get to see the best of him either, did we? In the back there, Liam Williams brought on to defuse those bombs, and some he did, some he didn't. To be honest, in the end, so with that one, a lot of running for not many meters by quite a few of the British and Irish Lions. I mean, 10 carries for Courtney Laws for 7 meters. Luke Cowan-Dickey 6 for 15. Jack Conan 9 for 10 meters. I mean, lots of that one out, especially amongst the forwards, one out running straight into a whole bunch of tacklers just waiting to receive them. And on that one, as I say, Luke de Jager 16 tackles, just missed one. Quagga Smith came on. He came on as a blood replacement initially in the first half, but also came on in the second half. 15 tackles, non-missed, so a big shift by him as well. And Delendi, 12 tackles, 2 missed in there. So yeah, some big shifts by the South Africans. A lot of tackling that they had to do in this one. The British Irish Lions having to do a lot less because they had the ball a lot more, but just didn't manage to basically break down that strong defence. In the end, 12 penalties to the South Africa, 15 to the Lions, pretty even there with that one. Both sides had their wobbles at scrum time and at the lineouts. Sinclair coming on and I think giving up 2 late scrum penalties, 1 5 meters out after being held up, and then also I think it was him that gave up the one at full time as well. So he won't be very happy with that one. According to the stats, he only gave up 1 penalty, so it must be Vunapela on the other side that gave up that one at the end there at the last penalty at the last scrum. But the I say scrums a bit up and down for both teams. Even if it says South Africa only lost one, and the Lions lost 3 of their own. A couple of lineouts going awry from both, but generally. So that was all a bit scrappy, and yet there was a lot of scrappy play in this. What was not free flowing rugby. I mean, 186 meters run by South Africa, only 234 by the Lions. Again, around about 400 or just over 400 meters run. Not very many in a rugby game. But as I say, a lot less kicks, so a much better game for my mind than we saw in the first 2 tests, even if it wasn't the result that I wanted. Congratulations to the Springboks. They got the job done. Mornay Stern coming on at the age of 37, to kick the winning goal yet again. Boy, oh boy, that was, we've seen this film before, I think is the comment for that one. So thank you, folks, for this. I think for a lot of us, it's thank goodness this tour is over. It's not been the most fun tour because of all the toxic stuff going on social media. And let's hope we can put that behind us and not see that again. It has been poor. Also, the quality of the rugby in the first two tests, let's be honest, wasn't great. We had about 5 minutes rugby in those two tests combined. So I must say, personally, for a tour that you look forward to so much, it has been a real disappointment. And I'm glad to see that it's all over and we can move on from this. I'll be live today at a Bay of Plenty versus Tasman in the NPC. Stephen Harris will be up in up at North Harbour for their Farah Palmer Cup and NPC games. So do keep an eye out on the New Zealand Sport Radio Facebook page for coverage of those games. Also, we'll try and get back to you at 8 p.m. this evening to give you a round of all the NPC and Farah Palmer Cup action. So thanks for joining us for our coverage of the Lions Tour. And obviously, it's Bledisloe Cup, NPC, and the Rugby Championship and Farah Palmer Cup for us for the next few weeks.